Welcome to the Sisterhood Spotlight, a video podcast show that celebrates and shines a light on women who have overcome obstacles, tragedies, challenges, and have triumphed and succeeded. You will hear the stories of amazing women who are entrepreneurs, community leaders, corporate professionals, and so many more. These women will inspire, motivate, and encourage you by sharing their tools, knowledge, tips, and support that you need to be empowered to succeed. I am the Mindset and Empowerment Coach and your host, Pat Gillum. Well, hello. Welcome to the Sisterhood Spotlight. And today I'm shining the light on my sister and girlfriend, Doretta Thomas. Doretta, welcome to Sisterhood Spotlight.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. So, Doretta, I know you personally, obviously, and I want to introduce you to the rest of the Sisterhood audience and listening now on the podcast to really know that, you've been in the insurance and financial service industries for well over 10 years, helping women and families and small businesses. Tell the audience a little bit about how you guys started and why that's so important for you.
Well, how I got started was I was actually working for a major trucking company and I just wasn't feeling fulfilled. And so I just stepped out on faith and quit. And insurance, I tell people, really found me. God just brought it to me. So once I started my process, I knew that's where I was supposed to be. And my first client, I had a family of 9. I lived in Memphis, Tennessee. I had a family of 9. I wrote policies on the whole family. Maybe 2 weeks later, I got a hurling, screaming call saying my son is dead. One of the ladies' son had been killed. And I was able, with a $17.80 premium, I was able to bring them quite a bit of money in with the life insurance proceeds. So I knew then I was making a difference.
That is so powerful. So really being able to say, how do I help families in times of need, really be in a position to cover some of the financial expenses that they may have had to do that. When you were in that industry, what challenges do you find with people setting up insurance and actually acquiring it? What challenges are you finding?
Yeah, there's definitely some challenges because insurance is not something we want to talk about. That's not, I have a boutique, I'm selling makeup. It's something that we really want to push in the background and we don't want to think about it. So I think the number one standoff I have is people wanting to say, I'll think about this later. But it's so important. It's something that is so needed. So you have, and I tell people all the time, you have insurance on your cell phones. You have insurance on your car. You have insurance on your house. You are your most prized commodity. You need to have insurance on you because it's not for you, it's for your family. And in your absence, your family needs to keep going. So if I can get them to understand that and to understand just how important it is to not only get it, but to keep it, because usually that's the first thing people let go is their insurance policy when times get rough. But I've been the opposite. I've kept my insurance policies and there's other things I've let go because I just know the importance and it's a priority.
Wow. So what is one of the reasons you think then when you say people are letting the insurance go, why are they feeling it's not a priority to keep that peace of mind, right?
Yep. I believe the number one reason is because they don't think it's going to happen to me right now, and I've got time. And my mother always raised me, and she would tell me, Doretta, they're small caskets like they're long caskets. So little kids can die, unfortunately, like people in their, 90s. And we don't know. We have no idea. We can be in a car accident or anything can happen to us. And then they're searching around, doing GoFundMe pages, asking people for money. When had they taken the $20, $30, $50 or whatever it is to get something and to keep it, then they wouldn't have they don't have to go through that, and their family don't have to go through that, really.
Right. So most people are probably thinking then, Doretta, that, oh, it's just too expensive. Is insurance, acquiring it, really expensive, or how affordable is it really?
Yeah, it is affordable in your rent. Whatever you can afford, we can get you something. And I tell people all the time, you get what you can afford. I don't try to offer someone, if I know they're on a fixed income, this big elaborate policy. That makes no sense because I want you to keep it. So I tell people something is better than nothing. So grab a little bit, and as time get better, get another policy. As time get better, get another policy, but just start with something.
Yes.
And so it can be expensive if you've let your health go, and if your health is really bad, and if you've gotten to a certain age, then yeah, it does get expensive. So that's why I also try to tell people, if you can get it when you're young, 20, 30, even 40s, but once you start getting 60, 70, you're going to pay a little bit more. You're going to pay a little bit more because usually our health has changed as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Juan Brown, for joining. He said this is awesome information. So yes, absolutely. And much needed for our communities. How has having insurance and financial service products helped you and your family? Have you been able to benefit from this?
Yes. I tell people all the time now, I'm not only a insurance agent, I'm also a client. Okay. So, because in 2018, in January, when I was diagnosed with cancer, I had 2 critical illness policies that had the cancer piece to it. So once I was diagnosed, my doctors filled out the information on the form. We sent it in, and in 14 days, I had 2 checks. So that was one piece of it. And then when my children's father passed away, then we had life insurance. And so we had life insurance proceeds. So it helps to have insurance because it's the what ifs and the when time comes, because it's coming on some things. So you have to be prepared. But no, I'm truly a believer in insurance.
And so what I just heard you say, which was so pivotal, that sometimes a lot of people don't know, is life insurance is not just for people who to set up policies in the event that you die. It really will help you in the event to stay living, is what I'm hearing from what happened to you when you were diagnosed, right? You had a policy that was able to help support you during that time.
During that time, exactly. Yep.
And so that's what I think when you said who are really good candidates too for this, everybody is, but it's better to get it when you are younger. But most young people are not thinking of dying, and that's how they're presented with life insurance a lot of times, right? But I think if you start positioning what you do as a financial service product where people have started businesses, like multimillionaires now have policies where they have created and borrowed from these policies that they've set up to get them started in their businesses. And so many people don't know that, especially in our community, because we're so used to what I saw is my grandmother would pay this guy some money who came around and collected on a policy for her. It was a cash-based business back then. I remember watching that.
Mm-hmm.
And so many of us have that ingrained in us, that that's what it is. It's setting up something in the event that I die, not
Right.
realizing there are
And
living
help you when you live.
financial services products. And what are
Yeah.
some of those things?
Yeah.
And is that something that you offer?
And yeah, it is something that I offer, and you're right. But I think also too, I want to put a pin here. We didn't know our community, we were not taught and we were not given that information. See, when the insurance man came, he did sell the $2,000 policies or the $1,000 policies. So yeah, grandma and granddad had the policy, they had the little envelope waiting for the insurance guy. So we didn't know about the cash building side of it. That was something we were not privy to. And not until late,
Yes.
I would say maybe 15, 20 years ago, did we realize that, wait a minute, I can actually build from my cash value. I can build something and I can borrow against it. That's how Walt Disney started. No bank would give him a loan. So he took out money from his cash building policy. Same
Mm.
way with Tyson Chicken and different other entities where they had these policies. But again, we were not taught that. So even if
Right.
we wanted to start a business, we didn't have the tools like that because we were given. I know my mother had a $2,000 policy, and she treated that policy like it was $1 million. That's all she knew.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you can't do more than what you know.
That's right.
So
That's
now
right.
we know. Now it's time to take action.
Which is what's so good about what I'm so excited about, because as you get to educate people about some of the things that are now available to them, I think in 2017, right, you started an amazing called Ladies Leaving a Legacy. Tell us a
Mhm.
little bit about why you created this organization and what is it?
Yeah. I started the organization because it was important for women to realize that particular policy that we were talking about. And I'll name it out. It's called an Index Universal Life Policy. And those policies are pivotal, and they are something that you can put in your financial toolbox along with your 401ks and your stocks and bonds. One thing I tell people all the time is all that is good and sexy, but life insurance, you don't have to pay taxes on. All the other products, you pay taxes on. So when we talk about life insurance and just the importance of it, I don't care. I have sometimes families who are millionaires, but they still want to get life insurance because they know when they pass on their assets, those are going to be taxed. And
Yeah.
then they can give their families the life insurance to pay for the tax. So, that's why I started Ladies Leaving Legacies, because it was so important for women to realize, first of all, we usually outlive our counterparts, our spouses.
Yes.
And then we go into long-term care. We need the critical illness piece of it. And so we need to start taking control of what we need. And a lot of times in my mother and father's situation, my mother didn't know a lot because usually the husband handles everything.
Hmm.
But we are now finding out more women have great buying power. We're buying homes, we're buying cars, we're buying the big motorcycle, we're buying stuff that we used to didn't buy. And so we're living longer. My grandmother lived to 106. So we're living longer.
Hmm. Hmm.
So we need those policies for retirement, and you can take money from that for retirement. You can take it for if you need cash for another house or whatever you need it for. So basically, I started that organization to help women realize what they need and what's out here for us.
Yes. And
So
I
yeah.
and I love the fact that you've started something to really help women gain more financial control, really, and have financial empowerment. And so
Yes.
that's so important. And to know
Hmm.
that we can leave legacies
Yeah,
to our
definitely.
families, which has
Hmm.
not been something in our community that we have done well.
Yeah.
And I like to start seeing us do that well, and
Right.
really setting ourselves up
Yeah.
for financial empowerment and success. So thank
Yeah.
you so much for starting that organization that really help women understand how they can contribute to their families and
Yeah.
be able to leave a legacy. So I know also, as the author of two fabulous books, you have just released your latest book, which is called Dying is Not an Option. Tell us a little bit about that book, and what's all inside of it.
Well, basically, dying is not an option is what I went through in 2018. And I'm of the mindset is everything that we go through is not really for us. It's to help someone and to be a benefit to someone else. And so that's really my why in everything that I do. I want to help the next woman or the next young girl or man. I want to share what I've gone through. So maybe you don't have to go through what I went through, or if you do go through it, you know how I got through it. And so we can, look at that and say, okay, we can make this happen. We can get through it. So for me, dying wasn't an option. The day that I was diagnosed with cancer, we told our children that I had cancer. Well, the next day, their father died. So with less than 24 hours, my kids was faced with mom has cancer and dad is now gone. So I remember going to a round table with about 20, 25 doctors, and they were all looking at my cases and sharing their opinions. So at the end, they said, "Now, Miss Thomas, do you have any questions?" I said, "No, I don't really have any questions. I have a statement because dying is not an option." I said, "My children just lost their dad. I will not die. I cannot die. So whatever we need to do, we need to do. Okay, dying is not an option." And so they kind of sat there, kind of stunned. But again, that was my stance, and I took that all the way through my whole ordeal. Is that, look, whatever I got to do, I've got to do. So the book talks about that. It talks about the importance of getting tested. I
Mm.
remember my doctor, my reconstructive surgeon, telling me that, Doretta, every day there are over 10,000 women being diagnosed with breast cancer.
Right.
So, going back to the insurance, why wouldn't you have critical illness? Because critical illness takes care of a lot of those things. The cancer, the heart attacks, and the strokes. So I just remember that there were things that I needed to step up. So when they asked me, okay, do you want to take a BRCA2 test or a BRCA1 test? And I'm like, what is that? There were so many things that were new to me, but I told them everything I need to have, let's do it.
Hmm.
Because I need to know. I need to know if I'm passing this on to my children. So
Right.
basically, in the book, I talk about the whole gamut of not just going through cancer. I talk about the grief of losing my best friend, my children's father. I talk about even just the different, with 5 sons and 6 grandchildren, but I talk about just all their different little hang-ups and how they dealt with being gone and mom having cancer. There were things that and each one of my children are different.
Yeah.
So you you go to them in different ways.
Hmm.
You can't just parent all your children one way,
Right.
you
Right.
know. So I had quite a bit of just I think just a whole dynamics of it. It was just the whole dynamics of it. But again, my number one preface was, dying is not an option. I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm going to be the best that I need to be. I've always been health conscious, but it was really important for me to do what I needed to do to be here for my family.
Yes, yes, so true. Carmel Hood said definitely the BRCA test, very important test.
Right.
Elena says, love you, my beautiful sister. Brother
Love you,
Gazi,
Elena.
yeah, Brother Ghazi jumped on and says, great
Mm-hmm.
information. Definitely. I again, with you, believe that this book that you wrote is going to not only inspire so many people, but it will also leave a blueprint for folks who may have this diagnosis, and the next thing is they don't know what to expect, and now they can
Mm-hmm.
pick up your book and they know what a BRCA test is. They know, what
Yeah.
some of the options are even available to them now, because you've been able to share your story with them.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I love shining the light on women who have overcome some challenges, who have really triumphed in the face of tragedy, and are out sharing their story to hopefully inspire and motivate the next person. And Doretta Thomas, you are doing just that. So
Thank you.
continue to do the work you're doing. We're putting up on the screen right now how people can get a copy of that book. Dying is not an option. Go to dyingisnotanoption.net and get your copy today. Doretta, how else are folks able to connect with you if they want to connect with you to learn more about your insurance and financial products?
All right. Well, basically, they can go to, I have a Facebook page, Ladies Leaving Legacies. I also have the website that they can go to. They can leave information there, and then I can get back with them in that way as well. A lot of people already know my phone number. It is available. It's public. I'm a public servant, so it is 602-383-4213. And I tell people, you can call me anytime, even if you have insurance and if you have a question, because I want to make sure you're doing the right thing. So I don't care if you already have a policy through someone else. It doesn't have to be through me. I'm there to assist you any way I can.
Well, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing today. And what I always love to ask my guests this: what one piece of advice do you have for folks as you leave today?
My one piece of advice is take control of your health. Take control of how you go about your wealth, and basically just be careful who you allow speaking into you. That's very important. When I first found out I had cancer, I was very careful of who I told,
Yeah.
because everybody can't handle that. So I needed the right people in my life speaking positivity and speaking over my life, that this was something that we were going to get through.
Wonderful. Well, again, I thank you so much today. That was great advice to leave for people. And I thank you for sharing your wisdom, your knowledge, your tools, and your tips with us today. And I am so excited that you allowed me to shine the light on you and all the great things that you are doing. So, ladies, gentlemen, please take control of your health and your wealth. And thank you so much for listening and watching today. Don't forget to subscribe to Sisterhood Extravaganza and like us on Facebook, and also listen to the video podcast on Anchor FM and Apple iTunes. Thank you guys so much. I love you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Mwah.
Love you. Bye bye.
All right. 3, 2, 1. It'll be stopping. It's doing a countdown now. Whoop, whoop.
Woo-hoo! We
Uh,
did it.
we did. I'm excited.